A shocking twist of fate has unfolded in the case of Robert Roberson, a man who has spent over 2 decades on death row, maintaining his innocence. In a dramatic turn of events, Texas's highest criminal court has intervened, blocking Roberson's execution just a week before it was scheduled to take place. This story is a gripping tale of justice, science, and the complex nature of our criminal justice system. Roberson was convicted of capital murder in 2003 for the tragic death of his 2-year-old daughter, Nikki, who was diagnosed with shaken baby syndrome. However, Roberson and his legal team have consistently argued that the science behind this diagnosis is now outdated and unreliable. But here's where it gets controversial. The All-Republican Court of Criminal Appeals, after initially denying Roberson's appeals, has now granted his request for a stay of execution under Texas's groundbreaking 2013 junk science law. This law allows for a re-examination of cases where the science driving a conviction has since been discredited. A bold move, considering this law has never successfully secured a new trial for a death row inmate. In its order, the court cited a previous case where it overturned a shaken baby conviction based on evolving medical research. Judge Robert Richardson, in a concurring opinion, highlighted the delicate balance between the finality of judgments and the pursuit of accuracy in light of advancing scientific understanding. He wrote, "A death sentence is clearly final, and once carried out, hindsight is useless." Roberson's legal team has presented additional medical evidence and expert opinions, suggesting that Nikki's death was due to natural and accidental causes, not abuse. These conclusions align with forensic opinions presented in earlier appeals. The team argues that Roberson is actually innocent, stating there was no homicide, only the tragic death of his very ill little girl. Experts have found that Nikki suffered from undiagnosed chronic pneumonia and was prescribed medications no longer considered safe for toddlers. These medications suppressed her breathing, leading to brain swelling and ultimately sepsis, causing a bleeding disorder that made her bruise easily. Roberson's attorneys argue that these circumstances were not properly considered or excluded in the initial assessment of Nikki's condition. The case has become a political battleground with bipartisan support for Roberson's quest for a new trial. However, a group of Republicans, including Attorney General Ken Paxton, has been pushing for his execution. Representative Jeff Leach, a lead advocate for Roberson, expressed relief and hope, stating, "Today, truth and justice finally win the day. We are hopeful that Robert's story and the truth about what happened to Nikki will finally see the light of day in the trial court." The execution was previously delayed in 2024 when a Texas House committee issued a subpoena for Roberson the day before his scheduled execution. This move caused a political clash and prompted the Texas Supreme Court to temporarily delay the execution. Texas lawmakers have argued that the courts were not properly applying the junk science law, which Roberson has repeatedly used to challenge his conviction. The Court of Criminal Appeals had previously halted Roberson's execution in 2016 based on the same law, sending it back to the trial court for further review. However, the trial court later declined to grant a new trial, and the Court of Criminal Appeals upheld this decision in 2023. Stating that doubts about the cause of Nikki's death were not sufficient to overturn the death sentence. Roberson's attorneys argue that the state and the courts have not adequately considered the overwhelming new evidence that undermines Nikki's shaken baby diagnosis. This case raises important questions about the role of science in our justice system and the potential for wrongful convictions. As Roberson's fate hangs in the balance, the trial court in Anderson County will now decide whether the evidence warrants a new trial. The outcome could set a precedent and spark further discussion on the application of scientific advancements in criminal cases. What are your thoughts on this complex and emotionally charged case? Do you think the courts should prioritize the finality of judgments or the pursuit of justice and accuracy? Share your opinions in the comments below.